basically start off by taking off this 14mm nut on the ball joint. There's a bolt nut. Bolt side. There's the nut side. Just take that off and be careful. Hit that bolt out of there so you can drop the ball joint. There's the nut. See how easily we can get that bolt out. Sometimes it helps a little bit to get on this side with your gun and kind of run the nut and bolt a little loose. Not moving. Work at this for a few minutes. Alright, so you just basically have to beat that through with a hammer. If you're not comfortable hitting the end of it and you're afraid you're going to mess up the threads, take the nut, put the nut on backwards and hit the end of the nut flush with the end of the stud. So you get that bolt out of there. Now you just got to hit the ball joint down. We'll do that eventually. We're going to take off all the other bolts first and then just drop it from there. So now you have two 19mm bolts holding in the bushing side. You got that one and that one. So just run those out. Alright, you got one more bolt. You got to drop this cover here. You can basically just drop the front of it. There's a couple 10mm bolts you can take out, and it'll give you the space to get in there. Get your 19 swivel and extensions. Make sure you remember where all your bolts go. They're different sizes. You don't want to mix them up. Alright, so now you can basically just beat this ball joint out and you should be able to get the whole control arm out of there with a little bit of working. Usually hit the ball joint with the control arm here to knock the ball joint out, or you can hit the ball joint in the top there if you have something to get in there. Air hammer or chisel. You can hit it from the top in and it'll drop it out. It's coming slowly but surely. So I was rusted in there pretty good. I just got my air hammer in there and basically put it right here. Just air hammered it down and that got it out. Alright, so get that ball joint out of there. I'll just come right up in here and basically just pry it out. Comes out pretty easy at this point. Just be careful not to drop it on yourself. There you go. Now you want to line them up, make sure the new part matches the old part. If you can do that before taking the old one out, I suggest doing that just in case the part's wrong, so you don't have to put everything back together. I already did that, so I know that they are exactly the same. Going back in, just reverse those steps. So start with this side, get that one in there, come over here, slide that in. Get it started in there. Make sure that one's up in there. There we go. Get your holes lined up. Now once you get all them bolts in, just hammer them on with your gun or ratchet them on. You're gonna have to get a pry bar and pry on this one to line it up. Alright, so now you gotta put the ball joint in. You gotta get it up in there so that this groove is past that hole. So that when you put this bolt in, the
bolt will go through that groove and keep the ball joint from falling out. So you can see the groove in there now, or the top of the ball joint rather, so you got to get it up in there more. Hammer might help. Give it a couple good taps of the hammer. So now you can see that that groove is where you can get the bolt through. So let's just make sure that'll go in. Yep. I got to put my phone down to run this on, but you get the idea. Run the knot on, tighten it up. So got it in, all tightened up. The very last thing you want to do is get your grease gun on that fitting, pump some grease into there so you don't ruin the new ball joint. Alright, that should be alright.